Batman can be mean.
Where are they?
Killing is making a choice.
Where are they?
Well, not all the time. In terms of storytelling and popularity, Dark Knight's Metal is one of the highest rated comics of the last few years with its world building and character study of Batman. A bulk of the crossover deals with a twisted version of Batman who have destroyed their worlds in the Dark Multiverse, a twisted and dark version of the DC Multiverse. Over the course of the miniseries, spin-offs, and one-shots, DC has managed to give us a lot of stories to enjoy, so join me as I go over 10 twisted tales of the Dark Multiverse. In the larger crossover, the Red Death serves as a counter to Barry Allen. However, his backstory is even more horrifying and tragic. Essentially, he can be described as Batman with the Speed Force, which is terrifying in its own right, but the way the Red Death came to be is truly terrible. He isn't simply Batman with the Speed Force, instead, he's a fusion of Barry and Batman, with Batman as a Red Death's dominant personality in a body shared by two minds. After growing increasingly frustrated with his ability to help those he deeply cares about, Batman resorts to getting the Rogue's weapons, which include Captain Cold's gun, in order to overpower the Flash to get access to the Speed Force. Despite Barry's refusal to help Bruce obtain the power of the Speed Force, Batman keeps on pursuing Barry, and after knocking him out, he ties him to the front of the Batmobile. He enters the Speed Force, merging with it and Barry to become the Red Death. Batman's persona takes control, while Barry helplessly witnesses him harnessing the Speed Force to annihilate foes both heroic and villainous. For Barry, being trapped within his own body, unable to stop the misuse of his powers, is the most tragic aspect of this story. The Death of Superman storyline is one of the most important stories in the realm of DC Comics. Spanning over 4 decades of storytelling, DC made the bold decision to eliminate Superman from existence. This tale, now ingrained in our collective consciousness, from the monumental clash with Doomsday, to the emergence of various Supermen, and ultimately, the resurrection of Superman donning his iconic black suit. However, in this Dark Multiverse iteration, a twist unfolds, as it is Lois who becomes a catalyst for unforeseen tragedy. Lois, filled with grief and anger, criticizes the other heroes for their inability to assist Superman. But, to be fair, if Doomsday was able to kill Superman, what could the other heroes have done? However, in a surprising turn of events, Lois acquires powers and takes it upon herself to rectify the world's wrongs. She confronts the heroes who have failed Superman and works towards fixing the corrupt society that Superman wasn't able to, killing anyone she sees fit, becoming judge, jury, and executioner. This journey brings her face to face with numerous characters from the DC universe, including the return of Superman himself. This revelation horrifies Lois as she feels guilt for what she has done, as he witnesses the state of the world that she now inhabits. Ultimately, Superman meets his demise, leaving Lois as the eradicator of this new reality. Knightfall is undeniably one of the most significant and more well-known storylines in DC Comics, particularly when it comes to Batman. This narrative has been adapted multiple times, even making its way into live action with the film The Dark Knight Rises. It's an absolute must-read due to its introduction of Bane, a ruthless and strategic villain who caught Batman completely off guard. In one of the most iconic panels in comic book history, Bane infamously breaks Batman's back, leaving readers in sheer shock. This momentous event can be compared to other impactful events such as the death of Superman or Barry's demise in Crisis on Infinite Earths. Throughout the course of the story, Batman enlists Azrael as his temporary replacement during his recovery. In theory, this was the right choice, but it leads to Azrael's betrayal of Batman when he attempts to have Azrael stand down. Eventually, Batman reclaims his mantle, restoring order and bringing about a satisfying resolution. In the twisted tale from the Dark Multiverse, things didn't follow the usual heroic script. Bruce Wayne found himself unable to stop Azrael, and instead Azrael cemented his reign as Gotham's self-proclaimed protector, while Batman was unjustly imprisoned. As the years rolled on, Gotham fell deeper under Azrael's dark influence, and Batman seemingly vanished from the scene. It is worth noting that Gotham evolved into a city-state during Azrael's prolonged rule, making everything in this alternate reality a tad more chaotic. The shocking revelation: Azrael had been holding Batman captive in a grim tower, and by this point, Bruce was quite literally falling apart. Over the years, Azrael had cruelly severed his limbs, all in a desperate bid to break the Bat and make him submit to his will. The turning point arrives when Talia al Ghul and the Son of Bane join forces to rescue Bruce Wayne. With the help of a cutting-edge bat suit, this unlikely trio embarks on a mission to stop Azrael's ambition, culminating in a showdown with him. In the end, Bruce Wayne, now committed to saving Gotham at any cost, takes a dark turn by eliminating Talia and Bane's son, all in his relentless quest to seize complete control of the city. You know, because of the unique nature of these crossovers, it's no surprise that I've got quite a few Batman stories on this list, but hey, who can blame me, right? It's Batman. The Grim Knight is one of these twisted tales which I have a full-on video here which you can look at, but for the sake of this list, I'll give you a more condensed version. In this unsettling universe, things went down a different path. While Bruce Wayne's parents met their tragic ends at the hand of a robber, just like the classic origin story, there's a major twist here. Instead of the robber keeping his weapon, he dropped it, and a young Bruce Wayne picked it up. And well, he didn't hesitate to use it to end the robber's life. This small but significant change in the narrative has a profound impact on the Batman's mission. You see, in this tale, Batman still strives to prevent other kids from suffering the same tragedy, but he's thrown that no-kill rule right out the window. This Batman, he's all about guns and lethal force, to the point where he's taken out several of Gotham's notorious villains, including the likes of Penguin and Black Mask. It's like the Punisher, but in Batman form. Guns, killing, and not so much empathy for the criminal element. The Crisis. Now let's talk about the granddaddy of them all, the original Universal reboot that turned DC on its heels. Crisis on Infinite Earths. This storyline, my friends, is nothing short of a game changer in the world of comics. We're talking about the obliteration of multiple universes, the deaths of beloved heroes like Supergirl and The Flash, the conversions of different versions of our favorite heroes, and the end of the Justice Society of America. Well, the first time around at least. The sheer impact of this crisis on storytelling in the comic book world is monumental, but it doesn't stop there. The tale shook things up to the core, giving birth to new character origins, shaking up the status quo. It's iconic, and definitely in the Hall of Fame of comic book stories, no doubt about it. Now picture this already legendary story but with a twist, imagining it unfolding within the mysterious and ominous realm of the Dark Multiverse. Now let's fast forward to the aftermath of the original Crisis. In the comics, the JSA got imprisoned in a pocket dimension to fend off the impending Ragnarok. They fought relentlessly and managed to thwart the Ragnarok threat, eventually making a comeback to DC years later. But here, in this darker twist, it's a Justice League that gets stuck in this pocket dimension, and tragically, they didn't make it out alive. Surtur, the fire giant, managed to break free from this otherworldly prison, unleashing chaos upon the world. With the Justice League gone, it fell upon the shoulders of the Justice Society of America and the remaining heroes to take a stand. As the situation grew bleaker by the minute, Alan Scott, the Green Lantern of Earth, did something unthinkable. In a desperate bid to safeguard Earth and its inhabitants, he struck a deal that would change everything. He volunteered himself to serve as the herald of the demon Surtur, guiding him and his formidable armies to unsuspecting worlds, bringing a Ragnarok upon trillions and trillions of lives. That's right, he became the Dread Lantern. Now, if this all sounds a bit familiar, it's because it's got a vibe similar to the Silver Surfer story over in the Marvel Universe, when he struck that life-altering deal with Galactus. Alright, let's turn back the clock to the 80s, the golden era for Teen Titans that played a crucial role in saving DC Comics. You see, back then DC was teetering on the edge, just one bad month away from going belly up. It's a bit like how the X-Men breathed new life into Marvel Comics with their fresh storytelling and drew in a lot of new readers. But it was the Teen Titans who had their own moment in the sun. They brought innovation to the table with a roster of memorable characters and gripping narratives. And one story in particular stands out, the Judas Contract. This storyline, which unfolded in 1984 within the pages of the Tales of Teen Titans 42 to 44 and Tales of the Teen Titans Annual number 3, was a game changer. Picture this, enter Tara, this insane girl wielding the power to manipulate Earth itself. She's a double agent actually working for Deathstroke the Terminator, aka Slade Wilson, one of the Titans' most vicious enemies. She's eventually found out, and in a last-ditch attempt to stop the Titans, she causes her own death as her powers betray her, leading her to being crushed by the very Earth she controlled. Now, in the Dark Multiverse, Dick Grayson, aka Nightwing, talks to Tara about his retirement plans. Tara takes his words to a twisted extreme. She betrays Slade, transforms into Gaia, and uses her enhanced power to launch Titan's Tower into space with Starfire, Raven, Cyborg, and Wonder Girl inside. Then she attacks Dick, prompting Wally to save him. They call in Superman for backup, but Gaia's powers now are so immense that she can even defeat the Man of Steel by drawing in all of Earth's kryptonite to her. This causes massive earthquakes, signaling her complete control over the Earth. Now let's talk about the Hush storyline. It's one of the more well-known tales, and while it might not be everyone's favorite, the stunning artwork by Jim Lee alone makes it a must-read. The story kicks off with Batman swooping in to save a kidnapped boy from the clutches of Killer Croc. But hold up, Catwoman throws a curveball by swiping the ransom money, Batman takes a hit during the rescue, and it's none other than Huntress who comes to his aid. After recovering, he teams up with Catwoman to stop Ivy's wicked schemes, even going to head-to-head with the mind-controlled Superman. You know, just regular Batman stuff, right? But here's where things get interesting. In the original story, everything was caused by Thomas Elliot, an old friend of Bruce Wayne, who became the villainous Hush. But in a Dark Multiverse twist, the Elliots decide to raise Bruce Wayne themselves after his parents die, sidelining Alfred. Elliot rises to power as Senator and CEO of Wayne Enterprises, all thanks to his girlfriend Talia al Ghul. But things get crazier as Bruce finds himself committed to Arkham Asylum by none other than Thomas Elliot and the sinister Dr. Jonathan Crane. Gotham slowly transforms into a militarized city, pushing Barbara Gordon to lead a rebellion called the Outsiders. There's also some weird stuff with the Court of Owls going on. To make matters worse, a man in a bat costume starts terrorizing Gotham's elites, with the ultimate twist revealing where it is revealed to be an insane Bruce Wayne wearing this bat suit that mashes up the classic suit and the Hush aesthetic.
And it's not so bad at all.
Now let's talk about the second Crisis in a long line of Crisis events. This epic storyline was made by DC Comics editorial team to give their universe a good old spring cleaning. It revisited characters and concepts from the earlier Crisis event, even dusted off the old multiverse concept. One of the major themes here was the essence of heroism. It painted a stark contrast between the often dark and conflicted modern day heroes and the memory of the lighter and nobler heroes from the golden age of comics. Trust me, there's a whole lot going on in the story, but one standout moment is the introduction of Jaime Reyes as the new Blue Beetle. And guess what, this ties in perfectly with the key character of our Dark Multiverse tale. In the Dark Multiverse twist, Ted Kord, the second Blue Beetle, manages to put a stop to Maxwell Lord and even takes him out. He then seizes control of Checkmate, this super secret spy organization that Maxwell Lord used to run himself. Using Checkmate's resources, Kord successfully averts the crisis that was brewing, but here's the kicker. He lets the power go to his head and eventually fuses with OMAC, spiraling into world domination mode. It's a wild ride from hero to villain, all in the name of power. In the aftermath of Jeff Johns' Sinestro Corps storyline, it set the stage for the Blackest Knight event. This epic saga brought Nekron into the picture, the embodiment of death in the universe, with one goal in mind, wiping out all life across the multiverse. It's a story that delves deep into the heavy themes of life and death, all while expanding the emotional spectrum. Think of it as DC's answer to Marvel Zombies, where numerous fallen heroes of the DC universe rise from the grave to join the Black Lantern Corps. As the story unfolds, the Lanterns uncover a critical truth. They need the entity of life to stand a chance against Nekron. At one point, Sinestro gains control of this entity, but he can't quite harness its power, so he ultimately lets it go to defeat Nekron. But here's where the Dark Multiverse twist comes in. What if Sinestro didn't let go? What if his ego and pride got the better of him? In this dark alternate reality, Sinestro's arrogance leads to the complete annihilation of all life by the Black Lanterns. Only a handful of beings survive, including Sinestro himself, along with Lobo, Dove, and Mr. Miracle. Mr. Miracle stumbles upon a way to recreate the universe using the mysterious source wall, but when Nekron drops the bomb that this act will erase Sparta from existence, Mr. Miracle takes drastic action and ends Dove's life. This sets off a chain reaction of revenge. Lobo, driven by anger, takes out Mr. Miracle. Sinestro, left with no other choice, uses Lobo to channel life energy into the universe. But this creates a grotesque form of life that's hell-bent on destruction. Sinestro fights to escape this nightmarish world, but is thwarted by higher entities, who are determined to prevent him from contaminating other universes. It's a tale of unchecked pride and devastating consequences. Now let's get into the big bad of the Dark Metal stories, a nightmarish version of Batman who essentially turns the multiverse upside down. But trust me, his origins are about just as twisted as they come. Picture this, on Earth 22, the Joker makes a chilling discovery. He's slowly dying from the chemicals coursing through his body. Armed with the knowledge of Batman's true identity as Bruce Wayne, he sets out on a mission to push Batman beyond the brink. the Joker goes on a killing spree, taking down many of Batman's infamous foes, and even killing Commissioner Gordon. But that's not enough for him. To torment Bruce even further, he exposes innocent citizens to those same chemicals that turned him into the Joker, ruthlessly murdering parents in front of their own children. It's all part of Joker's twisted plan to taunt Batman by dredging up trauma of his own parents' death. Batman eventually confronts the Joker, and in a brutal showdown, he takes down his arch nemesis. But in the world of comics, it's never quite that simple. The toxins in Joker's body seep into Batman, merging his genius-level intellect and physical prowess with the Joker's madness and sick sense of humor. Now known as the Batman Who Laughs, he seizes control of Earth-22, wiping out his former allies and twisting his own son Damian into a mini-Joker. Not stopping there, he recruits children infected by the Joker toxin, molding them into his horrifying rabid Robins. It's a tale of descent into darkness that really unnerves you. There are definitely some other stories I didn't include in this video, so if you want a part 2, make sure you pound that like button. And for more in-depth videos on Dark Knights, check out this playlist right here. But for now, and as always, take care and have an awesome day.